Good evening and welcome back to the AfriCanadian Resource Center. We apologize obviously for starting late. We try to start at 6 o'clock every night. Tonight we're a bit late and we do apologize for that. But still, business must go on, and so we're here. We welcome you and we thank you for joining us. Tonight, like every night, we're bringing you different things. We're bringing you news on COVID. We're going to bring you a little bit of the community visits that we did today. We're also going to give you a conversation with someone that's going to be joining us in a few minutes. And then other than that, of course, we look forward and we look at different things. We do have a program on My Healing Corner where we are looking at the reflection, thinking about mental health, thinking about winter and summer sort of moods. So that's something I wanted to talk to you and share with you. But before that, as we start every night, I have a bit of information. I have a bit of news that I wanted to bring to you tonight, which I will begin by telling you that Ontario is reporting about 548 new COVID cases this Tuesday. And obviously this is a drop from the 615 cases that was there yesterday. And this is the 9th straight day that the cases in the province has surpassed 500 cases. Obviously, as we say every night, obviously this is becoming a drum. This disease, this COVID is becoming almost a norm, and we have to continue to protect ourselves, stay safe, wear the mask, wash the hands, as some people here in the office keep telling me. Trust me, I do it, but we're trying to go even the extra mile to make sure that we are safe and our families are safe. And so we want to do our best, especially that we're going out on the field every day. They're saying that most new cases in Toronto, most new cases are in Toronto, which has about 201 cases, and the Peel region has about 90 cases. In Ottawa, about 62, and York region has 56 cases, with the majority of the new cases, 61%, in people under the age of 40. Once again, we used to think this was a virus that was affecting older people, but I think maybe because we are treating it as a casual thing, a lot of young people are being affected. 61%, that's immense, that's a lot. The other thing we're learning is that Toronto's top doctors are urging residents to limit Thanksgiving dinner to people you live with. And they're saying that amid this surge in COVID-19 infections in the city, they feel like this should be the time where usually Thanksgiving people come together, we go home, we go to our loved ones, wherever they live. Most people who live in rural areas, they go there. They're obviously advising not to do that. And then of course, because of the travel restrictions as well, a lot of that's going to be affected. It's a challenge obviously, and we hope that people can respect that. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Thanksgiving is this coming Monday, and we'll see how that goes, and we hope for everyone to be safe. The other thing that we are learning today, this is more on a personal level, and I really want to talk about this also in my healing corner later on tonight, is the fact that the data is showing that certain low-income neighborhoods in Toronto are facing a positive rate of 10%. If you remember, when this disease was started, we used to think that this was affecting between 0 point something to 1%. Right now in these neighborhoods, which many of them are predominantly black neighborhoods, especially in Etobicoke, 10%. That's incredible. And so I want to go back and touch on that, and also talk about our experience as black people in Canada, in America, and how many of the things that happen affect us, especially because of the levels of poverty in our neighborhoods. So we look forward to that as well. But before we do, let's go to a commercial. And on the other side of this commercial, we're bringing you an interview, hopefully, because we're waiting for our guest to join us. If not, we'll continue the program and get back to the interview shortly. All right, so we'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
A coronavirus is a type of virus that can infect the respiratory tract, meaning the nose, mouth, throat, sinuses, or lungs. There are many types of coronaviruses, and most cause only mild illness, such as the common cold. But some coronaviruses can cause severe illness. The most likely way people can become infected is by droplets that contain the virus. These droplets carry the virus into the air and can enter through the nose, mouth, throat, and lungs of a person who is within 6 feet or 2 meters. The virus infects the lungs, causing the lungs to become inflamed. The alveolar sacs have to be healthy for the body to breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Infection of the virus causes damage to the cells of the lungs and triggers an inflammatory reaction. Fever may develop. With severe inflammation, inflammatory fluid fills the lungs. This reduces the function of the alveoli, resulting in coughing and difficulty breathing. The oxygen level in the blood may decrease. In some people who become severely ill, other organs may be affected, such as the kidneys or the heart.
All right, welcome back, and we thank you for being with us tonight. As I told you previously, we are going to be joined by a member of the Kenyan community, new to Canada, a newbie, a newcomer, and someone who I really want to learn from as far as how she sees Canada from her eyes, because I feel like it's been, 20 years since I've been here in Canada, and I just wanted to have this interview. This is somebody I just met today, but obviously from what I've heard, she's doing a lot of work. So you're gonna learn this. You're gonna learn more about her with me. And so here, welcome, Minnie. How are you? Hello, Minnie. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, there you go.
Yes, I can hear you.
How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Amazing. So yeah, we wanted you to know. Tell me more. Who are you? And just first tell us who you are and what you do here in Toronto.
Great. So I am a marketing and communication specialist. As you rightly said, I'm in the Kenyan community. I'm immigrating from Kenya, and yeah, I've been in Toronto since the beginning of this year. Currently, I'm the Director, Marketing and Strategic Communications at Charterly, which is a private charter company. We provide private charter services. And I'm also volunteering with the Kenyan Canadian Association here in Canada, as well as other nonprofits here. Yeah.
Amazing. So you were here since January. Uh, Really, I wanna know this. Obviously, you came in and then COVID hit. How does Canada look to you? Is it what you expected, minus the COVID experience? How does Canada look to you as a person? And I'm assuming you came directly from Kenya.
Yes, I did. Yeah. And an interesting fact is that I was actually working in Rwanda for 4 years before coming here. So,
Ah,
yeah, maybe perhaps more coming from Rwanda than Kenya.
okay.
Right. Yeah, so to your question, my experience when I got here, it was obviously pre-COVID season. I just came right about a couple of weeks before we went into the shutdown. So far, it's been a very welcoming place. Honestly, I find that this is a very welcoming community, you know. There are a lot of cultures that are thriving and growing in the community. So I feel very encouraged. I've met with a lot of people from Africa that have been very successful, and they just feel right at home being here, whether they've been here for 20 years, 10 years, or the past 5 years. It's been an amazing experience for them, and
Mm.
for me too, I would say. Yeah.
Amazing. And so, just so you know, I'm Rwandese, born there. I've been going back in the last few years. Also lived in Kenya. I do have a Kenyan here as a member of our team. You're home with us right now. The fact that you've been in Rwanda and as a Kenyan, what do you like? And this is more of a personal question. What did you like about Rwanda? And as a Kenyan, is there maybe an advantage to being here? The fact that you have a community here. Um, what do you think? What was the experience you picked up from Rwanda? You feel like, oh, okay, this gives me an advantage, and plus the fact that you're a Kenyan living in Canada.
That is a fantastic question, Kizito. And yeah, I feel right at home having, being in the company of a Rwandan and a Kenyan. You're right.
Mm.
Right. So Rwanda was an amazing experience. We're just neighbors with Rwanda, so you get to feel right at home. There are a lot of amazing things that are happening in Rwanda right now, in development, and it's just really amazing how the country has grown over the years. So it gave me an opportunity to be part, just being there, I was part of this change. I was able to see it and participate in different ways, as a professional there. And what I would say I learned there is, I would say leadership, there's a lot of opportunities where you can just, say, I want to step up. And I want to do that, I want to do that for the community because there are opportunities. So that is something that I learned there, the spirit of service. It's very important. And, I'm bringing the same here in Canada, the same spirit of service, leadership, and just showing up and being present and doing whatever it is that you can do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when I was thinking, when I asked you that question, also I was thinking, as a person obviously coming from Kenya and Rwanda now, the majority of people speak English. Living in Toronto, you definitely do have that advantage of having the mastery of the language as well. The fact that you're in communication and marketing automatically, the only difference is the background, I would say. Because a lot of people who are immigrants, when they come to Canada, the challenge is usually a language, the language barrier. And so having people who are coming from an English background, as long as you know what you're doing, usually you have advantage of, or at least you can fit right in.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, language is very important. You are able to connect with people through language. So
Mm.
yeah, I would totally agree with you that language is an important piece. And when I was in Rwanda, I learned Kinyarwanda because,
Go
it's a
away.
language that, yeah, so if you want to speak with me some Kinyarwanda, you're welcome.
We can
And
switch this
yeah,
interview and just do the whole thing in Kinyarwanda if you like. It'll be fine.
yeah, one of these days we can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So totally, when you get into a space, you want to connect to the people. You want to do justice to where you are. You want really to genuinely connect with people, and language is very important. It's part of the culture. So yeah, it's important here in Toronto. English is important to speak, but I'm also picking up on French. I think it's also an interesting language, and
Yeah.
yeah.
No, amazing. I've given up on French. As a person who used to speak French, I don't know. But good luck on that one. It's very difficult compared to the English language. But amazing. Really excited to have you. I know you are doing a lot of work. Like, for example, this week you are actually volunteering for Friends of Africa, which is another organization that we've been working with over the last few years. Um, I want to ask you about that also. Uh, you're busy, I'm assuming. You're doing the work and you're new to Canada. What gets you to think, you know what, I'm gonna take this work on. I'm gonna, volunteer and give my time to these other organizations. What gets you to do that?
Oh wow, that's a fantastic question. I think it's important. I don't want to be the kind of person that, without, so to say, a life outside of
Mm.
your work. You want to be able to give. You want to be able to help others who are behind you. So I think it's very important on a, I would say, at a human level. You want to be in a position to be useful and resourceful to other people beyond just, your professional 9 to 5 job. You want to find a channel where you can give back, you can continue, you can leave a legacy, something that's going to leave after you. So I would say that that is what drives me. I want to be a person who is helpful and resourceful to other people. So volunteering really is very important for me. As I told you, I volunteer with the Kenyan Canadian Association, and I'm in the communications committee. I realize I have skills that I can use at work, but there's a place that needs somebody to stand up and say, I'm stepping up for this. I have these skills and I want to use these skills because I see that they're going to benefit a number of people. So that's I would say that's my motivation.
That's amazing. And I would like to ask you maybe down the road, I know you're busy with the program now, but we would really love to actually visit the Kenyan Association and maybe do an in-person interview, but also have them show us the work in the community because it's a part of what we're trying to do during these months that we're covering the African Canadian community. So I don't know if it's something that we can be able to arrange.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they would be happy. I speak confidently, I would say, on their behalf.
Okay.
I think they would be happy to talk about all the amazing work that they're doing, not just for Kenyans, but for other African, at the entire African community. And
Mm,
something so interesting about the KCA, in short, is that,
mm,
it's opened up its services and support to people outside of who are not Kenyans, who are non-Kenyans, and I find that really incredible. It's a wonderful vision and a wonderful thing for people to think about helping other people who are outside of their circle. So yeah, definitely, I'd be happy to do whatever I can to connect you with the team, and I'm sure they're going to be very excited about this.
amazing. We look forward to that. In the meantime, so you're in marketing and communication. What led you to pursue that career? Like think back as before you started your studies. What got you to think, you know what, I'm gonna do communication. I'm gonna go into marketing. Um, Tell us a little bit about maybe a little bit about you and why you picked that
Yeah,
field.
so Yeah, sorry. So my communication journey actually started with an internship in Rwanda with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. So right after, I finished my studies, after my master's degree, I went to Rwanda and I did this amazing internship with the UNHCR there, and I was in the public information and external relations department, and I got to do some really amazing work of, putting together important communications about what the organization was doing to help refugees that were coming into Rwanda. And that information was so incredibly important because that is what would be used, to come up with strategies and ways of helping the communities there. So I realized that communications really it's so valuable, just being able to put together information that can be used to make important decisions is it's incredible. And I realized that even though I did not study for that, I had the abilities to go out in the field, speak with people, gather information, understand their emotions and what they're trying to say, put that in a document and share that with management. And they would be able to understand what is going on the ground. So that's how I started. I started realizing that there is something going on here. So I've never looked back since then. I've
Hmm.
just found myself going into communications and marketing. Yeah.
That's amazing. See, here we go. We always assume when you say something, we attach everything else on it. I'm really uh, glad, and I like this because I think for me, one of the things I've learned over the years is what you end up doing is what moves you, and it feels like from what you're saying, you followed your heart, you did your work, and then it led you to what you're doing now, which is really pretty much even for me as an individual, it's what I ended up doing. I have no background in any of the works that I'm doing, whether it's the non-for-profit that we are leading, the projects that we're learning. It all came from the passion and the work that I wanted to do in the community. So amazing to hear that, you know. By the way, we take that credit as a Rwandan. I'll accept the credit that we, you know.
For sure. Please.
That's
It all
amazing.
started in Rwanda. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm really proud, and for us, or even for me, always go back the work that has been done in Rwanda, but also my first year in Kenya. Uh, there was a lot that I saw that I was like, okay, this. I at first I was like, is this Europe? And then of course when you get here, you realize, okay, maybe we have a few years to go. But your country, the Kenyan community, has done a lot of great work throughout the history too.
Thank you very much.
You know, so we really we thank you. Maybe my last question to you, because you're involved in FOA this week. um, what should people be looking forward to on Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, great. So the Friends of Africa is going to be a great place to, first of all, network. There are going to be a lot of people that, coming from all over the place. We have to date, as I'm speaking to you, we have more than 1,000 people who've registered for the event. So definitely people should come prepared to meet others and to just network, know more what's going on. And there's a lot of conversation. There's going to be great conversation going on on how businesses are pivoting in this period. What are some of the ways that businesses are able to stay afloat in this season? And also what the government is doing, and as well as, what are the partnerships that are going on right now between the government and the private sector. So definitely people should look forward to that. It's going to be a great event. We're going to have a pitch competition taking place, so come and see, there are going to be some amazing business ideas. And yeah, we've put together a great event for people to come and learn and enjoy and get some real practical takeaways on how to plan for the next phase that is coming, the post-COVID phase. Things are not going to be the same anymore. Things have changed. So it's going to be a great session.
Thank you so much. And I know I promised was going to be my last question. I have one more question. For somebody who's been here since January, seems like you've already picked up and you're doing your thing in Canada. What's your advice for newcomers in Canada? And we have so many Africans that are coming in every year. What is your advice to actually, hit the ground and run?
Oh, yeah. So my advice is show up, come here, be present and show up. Associate yourself with places and people that are going in the direction that you want to go. When you come here, you don't have a lot of things figured out yet, and you don't know where to go, but take it upon yourself, be present and take charge. One of the things I quickly realized is that I needed help. So find people that you can connect with and find organizations. It's so good that here in Toronto, there's so many organizations that are ready to help newcomers. So take advantage of those. I took advantage of so many programs that were being offered for newcomers. Don't be shy. Take those programs, learn as much as you can, and be present as much as you can.
Amazing. Don't be proud. I know as Africans, we're so proud sometimes. When you come, just be humble and, do what you have to do. And we thank you so much because you're doing just that. And we're proud to have you in the community and look forward to working with you in the future. So once again, Minnie, thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to the event this coming weekend.
Thank you so much, Gazeto, for having me. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Amazing. Let's go to the commercial.
A message from the Government of Canada.
Welcome back, and we thank Minnie for having joined us. We really try to do this every night, try to get members from the community to learn more about them, but also to learn more about what they're doing. And for us, obviously, we are associated with the organization. It's called CASA Foundation here in Toronto. They have an event that's coming up this weekend called Friends of Africa. And so we are trying also to let you know, to get you ready, to hopefully have you participate in that program. And really, trust me, if you join, if you sign up and you be part of that discussion, those conferences that usually go on every year, this is the 10th anniversary, you're not going to regret it. And that's why we're proud to bring some of their members and also to be introduced and to introduce you to members of our community here in Toronto, and hopefully eventually we can go across Canada and do the same. So we thank her again for having joined us, and we thank you for always being with us. And we ask that you continue to share this so we can reach as many people as possible. Because there is a lot of resources that we're bringing you. We hope to bring you in the near future, and we hope that people can have access to them. And as we do, we also get to learn more and gain more resources to the community that we can exchange as we build both our own individual organization, but also working with you. What I want to do is do just that, take you to an interview we did earlier today. This interview was done specifically for our podcast, which is a series that we want to run every week. We are still waiting to upload our first one, hopefully this weekend. But we wanted to understand more about the gentleman we talked to who owns a store. We're still visiting the Danforth area because there's so many African organizations there. And we wanted to understand more about how he's doing during COVID. So you're going to hear his voice in the background. And then, of course, you see members of the community, you see people shopping, things like that. But this is more for you to just have an introduction, and the rest of the interview is going to be available on our podcast in the coming days. So without further ado, let's take a look. So thank you so much for having us here. Give us, what's your name, and what do you do?
Okay, all right. Thank you guys for coming here and to give me that, to give you some information about this area and the business. My name is Tesfit Johannes. Tesfit Johannes.
Okay.
I'm originally from Eritrea. It's been now around 4 years here in Canada. Yeah, the store name is Red Sea Fruit and Vegetable. It's been now 3 years since we established the business here. Okay. It was running by different people, and then we just bought from them. Okay. So far, we're doing good.
Okay, that's amazing. So obviously, even hearing you say we're doing good during COVID, that's amazing. How are you seeing business during COVID time?
Yeah, I mean, the COVID-19, it affects for everything, because when you are going to buy the stock, there is a lot of waiting. You have to go early morning around 4 a.m. in the morning, and then you don't go inside the supermarkets. You just wait and give orders from the salesmen, and then you have to wait for 4 or 5 hours. Just sit down in your truck, and then you have to bring. Sometimes you don't get good quality. You don't see it how that, you know. Plus, when it comes here also, the community was good. Actually, they were supporting, but it was kind of slow, you know. So you have to do a lot of things also in order to protect. You have to wipe everything, the table. You have to do signs, let the customer just not touch their hands with the products without doing the hand sanitizer. They have to do proper purification methods so that everybody has to be safe, you know. My vision, or our store vision, is to help our customer through the right way with the quality of products, and then from here, in order to grow to the better or the highest what do you call businesses. So the COVID-19 is having a lot of challenges. So for it makes a lot of obstacles in order to hit your target, because when you are running a business from this year to this year, what are you going to do? You have a plan, right? You have a goals. So when such things is happen, sometimes it makes your vision or your goals not to go through or to continue for that. But my or our main vision is to help for the community as we are living here, and to do right jobs or right activities for the whole community where I'm living around here. So I hope one day, after a long time, I'll see my vision is going to be successful in the things what I'm doing now. You know, when you come from your country here, people have a lot of fields or skills, profession or education standards. So when you come here, it's not simple to go a job right away for that. So you need to go either school or do something else. So I've been working in different fields. I see it as worse to me, because at least if I work hard and then at least I make some incentive, I'm okay with that. But I don't make any money. So the only thing what I I have to do is I had the business background. So in order to know or identify the system here, I have to start any kind of business. At the end of the day, if the business what I'm doing now, if it grows, okay, maybe I can do the same thing. Otherwise, I have to change different businesses because. So I decided to establish this kind of business in order to get a way to introduce to the system of.
We thank the community there in on Danforth for having allowed us to do that interview. And we continue, as I told you, we're going to have the interview on our website, hopefully this coming week, by the end of this week, where you can actually hear more about the vision and what they're planning to do. But of course, just the work in general, like how difficult was it for him to achieve the goal of building a business here in Toronto, especially the fact that he's new also in Canada. He's not somebody that is born here. So we are really, one of the things that we're enjoying as a part of this is seeing Africans, start and, begin to actually set foot in communities. And one of the communities that we've been going to is the one there in Danforth, and there's a lot of East Africans there. So again, we hope to continue to visit all of these different communities and learn more about what's available. And also, I know when we were talking to the gentleman on the call there, one of the things that a lot of people are asking for is because they have access to the community. They have a lot of people that come to them. One of the things that they are learning from the community is that there's a lot of our people that are looking for resources. And so, for example, if someone wants to start a business, where can they get funds? We know we have this access because we are in the community, we are involved. But there's a lot of people who don't know what this information is or where can they get those information. So we hope they can actually come to us, the platform that we are developing, and learn a lot of that information, where we're going to actually connect what's available in the community, but also give people access to what's actually coming, whether it's from the government, from the local, federal, or even the regional governments. There's a lot of programs that are available, and so we need some people that can actually sit down and sort through them and then help these individuals. And that's what we are trying to do through this resource center. And it is why we are going to communities, knowing who to talk to, know who is available. So when we actually have a resource, when we have a platform, we can go back to them and say, okay, here you go. This is what we have for you. You can access it. You can connect to the people in your network. And so we continue the building. So we thank them for allowing us to do the interviews. We thank them for joining us. Some of those who join us live, like Minnie did earlier. These are all, again, they are levels to resources, and these are definitely resources for us because these are people that have their feet on the ground in the community, being involved in the work in the community. One of the things I wanted to do is I want to go to the commercial, and then when we come back, we're actually going to do what we call my healing corner. This is where I sometimes talk about my healing journey. We invite other people to talk about their experience when it comes to healing, mental health, development, whether it's personal or community or spiritual. So when I come back, I want to talk to you more about the experience of being an African living in winter. Now we're coming into the months of winter. What does winter depression mean to me? And maybe go back to the issue of black people, black communities, always being on the lower end when it comes to the socio-economic ladder. We'll see you in a minute.
There are several practical measures you can take to protect yourself from the new coronavirus. One of the most important is regular, safe, and effective hand hygiene, using soap and water or alcohol-based hand rub. Here are the steps recommended by WHO to follow. too can have safe and clean hands anywhere. Now I'm calling on the world to take the WHO Safe Hands Challenge to be ready for coronavirus.
Vitamin D. I think this is a subject that many of us have heard and talked about. The idea of living in certain climates that are better or good for you. And I think for black people overall, this is a conversation we never have. I think I was talking to someone a few days ago right here, where we talked about how, right now, for example, you could talk to so many people and they will tell you, because certain people are required to wear, for example, sunscreen to be able to survive certain levels of climate. But if you think of like us as Africans, there are certain climates that we can survive in and dwell in, and one of that is summer. And so when we come into months of winter, a lot of us are affected, and I think this is a conversation that we have yet to have. Because yes, we come to these nations like Canada and all of the northern hemisphere nations, where the winter months are much longer. Summer is definitely a brief period of 2 to 3 months, and we don't have enough time to accumulate the natural vitamin D, the natural sun that we're required to thrive as a people. And so when we get into these months, if you've noticed, and I don't know if you have, but I've paid attention. I've paid a lot of attention to this. There has never been a movement in America or in Canada that is ever sort of gone mainstream during the winter months. It's almost like when it comes to the months of winter, we go to sleep. And I'm saying a movement, and I'm saying this is also a reflection to everything that we do. Because when it comes to winter months, we're simply trying to survive. We don't know, or we cannot function to 100% of our ability as a people, because obviously being in the cold months, having not had enough sun accumulation over the summer months, it's something we're supposed to do, by the way, over the entire 12 months. I think a conversation that we are to have is what happens when winter comes. So I mentioned earlier about winter depression. And maybe this is something that I'm giving you as a homework or something to do, to think about, to look at, to examine, to evaluate. Look at our people. Look at yourself. Examine yourself. Learn more about yourself the next 6 months. As winter begins and as it concludes next year in the spring months. Measure yourself. Measure your moods. See where you are in the summertime, August, July. And then compare, maybe take away December, because I think in December we all get excited about Christmas and all of those. I don't even want to go there because it's controversial. For those who celebrate it, I wish you the best. But minus that excitement, measure the months of winter and compare that to the months of summer. And if you have lived in Africa, for example, or somewhere in South America where the climate is different, remember how it felt like. How you felt like, how your body felt like, how your mind felt like, how did you feel as an individual? What level of joy did you have compared to how you feel in these climates and here in North America? I'm talking about this not because I'm not grateful of Canada and what we've been able to achieve and receive as a result of being here. I'm just drawing attention to something. I think we are able, or at least we need to be able, to look at this and talk about this and understand what we go through as a people. Because one thing we know for sure is we're not getting enough vitamin D. We're not getting enough sun that a black body, and I say this, a black body, a melanated body, is required to have, to function 100%. And this is in everything that we do, whether it's in leadership, whether it's in education, whether it's simply in our homes. If we are lacking that vibration, that energy, we cannot function 100%. So this is maybe a theory, because obviously I'm talking to a general audience, but I think there is something to say about our successes here in North America, that we really cannot be 100% when we're living through so many winter months versus the natural climate, or the level of climates that we need in order to thrive as a people, as bodies. Forget about all of the other bureaucratical ideas and, whether we have money or no money. Just simply as physical bodies. And when I say physical bodies, we think about the mind, the thoughts, the spiritual, and all of that. Because we're not just physical bodies in terms of what you see, we are also in our spirituality. That's also part of our body. And so if we cannot feed our physical body what it needs, then we are affected mentally, we are affected spiritually. So I'm asking you to think about this, because I think for me, every time through the winter months, the same thing happens, which is my energy level drops. So the winter depression is real. Is it the same as other people in the general society in terms of, do Europeans go through these experiences? Do people, for example, of Asia, do go through these experiences? This is maybe another question to ask, because honestly, I have not asked these questions. I don't know. All I know is I feel the difference. When I compare how I used to feel during the winter months back home, which we don't have, compared to how I feel over the course of the last 20 years that I've been in Canada, there is a level of change. And when it's winter, many of our people are not as active as we are in the summer months. And so I don't know. For me, I just wanted to bring that up in terms of when we talk about healing, we also have to talk about what kind of environment that we want to sort of heal in. And I know in a lot of our networks, there is certain things that we can do, especially when it comes to the sun. There is lights that you can buy that can actually serve as a replacement for the sun that you can use during the winter months. There is so many things. Of course, eating fruits and vegetables, even though it's winter months, so you think it's challenging, but those are part of what the sun is giving us. So if we're not getting enough sun during the summer months, we can actually take some of those things to augment that. Of course, I don't preach vitamins. I'm not saying don't, but there is so many other things we can do when you look at the intakes, the natural intakes that we can take that can help to level up those energies and allow us to at least be close to what we are in summer months. And this is just a brief conversation that I wanted to bring forward, but there is so much available if you go into the holistic part of things. And so I just want you to take a look at that and think about all of this. And when you think about how you feel, figure out what should you do to up your level of energy to be equal to that of summer months. Anyways, that is what I wanted to talk about for today. And also, there is a parallel between that and what we go through as a people. Of course, I was talking to you about the data that's showing the certain level of a certain low level in terms of income in the neighborhoods of Toronto are facing 10% of positive or in terms of when we are testing for COVID-19. These are all black neighborhoods. A lot of them predominantly are black, which means it's not because our immune systems are weaker. It's because obviously we do not have the capacity to do all of these measures that every other community is having to do. So when we say wash your hands, cover your mouth, keep the distance, the poor communities can't just do this because they are trying to make an end meet, and so they find themselves in certain areas in terms of the work, walking into the areas where you can't even do that distance as other communities can. So there is all of these things that come into when we think about socioeconomic levels. And it's not just about the mental health, it's not about healing, it's about also looking at the entirety of our communities and see what are the solutions, and do they apply overall, like do we just pull a blanket on everything, or do we have to divide in order to actually see how to solve these things? Then we can come back together when we are all at least close to our 100%. Anyways, that is what we have for you tonight. We would like to let you know that we do have this program every evening at 6 p.m. We hope to see you again tomorrow, and we also ask you to please share this. We are on Instagram at AfriCanadian, Afri.Canadian, or RCHC Center. We are also on YouTube and Facebook, and we are on Twitter as well. So just type in RCH Center, you can put in even my name, you find us and share us, let everybody know that we're here, we're bringing you these resources, we're going to be here for the next 3 months, and we hope to have you again tomorrow. Thank you so much.